So seek God. It took me 5 years to move on because that is when I knew it was the right time. So Christian ladies there, we have the power to make our marriages work.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Maybe at some point I gave up so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But after realizing I gave up, it was already done. You get, I could not build it up again.
Yeah.
So don't reach that extent. Yeah, don't reach that extent. Try as much as possible to be patient with people. Lower your expectations. Yeah, be tolerable, the fruit of the spirit. Yeah, all those things can help. For me, I looked at myself. By the way, society will talk. When you're happily married, they will talk. When you're struggling, they will talk. When you're divorced, they will talk.
So let them talk.
Yes, leave them, do the right thing. If you have children, let them know everything you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can talk to your in-laws, I'm friends with my in-laws, literally, up to now. If, like, make people friendly. Don't make this marriage thing to be like it's out of way proportion.
Hi everybody, welcome to today's episode. So some of you who watched last week, Mariam was sharing her experience about her marriage and how it eventually didn't turn out as she initially thought, and we had stopped at a point where reconciliation was hard. So this week she's going to take us through how she moved on and how life has been for her. So Mariam, previously you talked about how it was very hard for even professional counselors, pastors to come in to intervene in your marriage because your spouse then wasn't willing to
Not interested.
not interested. Do you think, or can you point to a reason that you feel he wasn't comfortable with? Because him saying give me time, maybe he was thinking about something.
Okay.
Maybe it was his personality. Maybe there's something he has never shared with anyone, but you think could be the reason. Could you be knowing something like that?
Yeah, actually, all the measures done, engaging everyone and letting them know. Remember, in that process of you trying to reconcile even before leaving home, you've had issues where everyone is now doing their things, personal things, and no one wants to enter into the other person's things. So after trying the last resort, I come to realize, like, I'm dealing with a person who is not willing to get it work out and is not opening up. Why? And everyone we go to talk to is saying, but we are not seeing any problem. We are not seeing battering here. We are not seeing infidelity. What is it? Like, someone even, when you talk to them, they're like, yeah, but you people, why did you divorce? But it was big.
Yeah.
It was bigger than we could handle. It was mindset. It was the mentality we both carried. Like, I don't think you fit me. I don't think I fit you. Remember, it was the beginning point.
Yeah.
Remember, I had it in my mind, and he was also thinking I am a threat all through. So I had to. Down there's a time he used to tell me, you greet me in the morning when you're kneeling. Don't, like, there was so much that was being done to show me that I am the man and you are the woman. So
It's actually possible for women to be a threat. But don't you think that that is to men who are not secure?
That is it. So there was insecurity. By the way, it was a very big thing. But here in Africa, you cannot point it out because they will think you're bossy. You're not understanding, you're not a submissive woman. Okay. You get? So that used to be what I was wearing. You're not submissive, from all the conversations we had.
Wow.
Yes. But there was nothing tangible that we could touch. You get? So even me, I'm like, okay, it is well. If that is what you think, let me take care of the children. Because I did everything which I cannot say here, but like too much done for it to work, and you also end up giving up. And when you give up, you know what you do? You start also doing your things. I started hanging out with friends. I got into wrong groups. of friends. We would go hang out. He does not know where I am. I would come back and he would not ask me. And neither would I explain. And for him, he would do it tomorrow better than me.
The marriage was just for showing each other that, by the way.
But in church, I would go on Sunday, then I'd be this woman. But inside, I was like, what is marriage when we are not getting along? Then secondly, I stopped giving him the money he wanted because he used to know my payday and all that. So even that was a very big thing. And of course, hanging out with some of the friends which are really not good, he really saw that now I am spoiled. Because when you hang out, like I have such those things, and you also come back and you're like, hey, but who are you? Cannot even buy sugar or a kilo of rice, something like that. So there was lack of respect, yes, and which he didn't earn because I was waiting for him to earn it, then I give it.
Okay.
Yes.
You weren't willing to give it for free?
Because I knew it is a 50-50. Bring, I also bring.
How long did he move out?
He moved out for more than before.
No, at what point, like how long did he take being outside the home to the point where you went in for a divorce?
Oh, yeah, it was after the third year.
Oh, really?
When he had moved out. After that third year, there's a time I really looked for him. He reached a time I would come home sometimes to check. He would, like the first year he didn't come home, the second year completely. Now,
did you know where he was?
Yes, we knew where he was.
He got another place
to stay.
Alone.
Yes, because the children, I didn't want our children to be affected. So I would literally engage him for the children not to feel so much that their dad is not around.
Because I think they would also be asking about their dad.
But when he left, they were happy.
Okay.
They were like, but he has not been even around. They were like, okay, but where does he stay? So it was not like a big thing on them. Or they knew, okay, he's there, okay, he's there.
Wow, 3 years.
So we got to know where he was, and that is after trying, even in those 3 years, that is when I tried the professional counselors to bring us together.
And things refused.
And refused, yes. So until one time when there's a time he came to check on us, and when he would come with friends, so that maybe I don't stop him from going back. So he'd even fear to come home alone. So I tell him, you know what, why don't we divorce? Because I see we are not getting anywhere. And that is after
3 years.
Yes, after 3 years. So he says, do what you want. I still need time. So he thought it was a joke. But for me, I was like, I think I need to find myself. I'm lost. I'm confused. This guy is not around, he's not there, he's not willing to work out, he's not interested. My pastors, and that was even after talking to my pastors, they have tried to tell me, let's wait, let's give him time. And that is when I also started studying myself, understanding who I am. So I had really a support system for me to take that step, and even praying for it to see if it is the right decision to make. So I tell him I'm filing. He says it is okay. So I filed in the divorce. When I filed in, that is when it backfired. So he starts dodging. Dodging, wasting time. So I'm like, we need to go to court. So they summoned him. When they summoned him, that is when it really opened the eyes. And we went to court, started, and you know, divorce is not a one-day thing.
Yeah,
so they would give us time, give us 4 months. You people go back and talk. When we leave court, we go back. I call him, can we talk? He does not want. What do we do? Until one time the magistrate asked him, what is the real thing? Of course, the lawyer, his lawyer, he told him that woman has never loved me. He even told me, when we are going to get married, I don't love you.
Wow.
So that is when he opened up. Then he also said, I don't think he can trust him. Okay, like he thought it was two-way gone. We cannot do anything. So even that is when I really understood that he had also given up. So the reason was I have never loved him from the word go.
So the other statement you made before, I think it had never left his mind.
But remember me, I said, let me go and work on it. And by the way, I was serious because I didn't want to be like my mom.
But for him, he took it.
I don't know what the things I used to do. Like, that's sure. But the bottom line is we go through the divorce. My pastors are aware. I engage his pastors. I engage his family. We did everything to put him on board. He was nowhere. I remember one of my bishops sent the leader of the pastors to purposely travel and meet him. He didn't. And they sat for 2 hours. They didn't get anything from him. So that is when they said, okay, we have accepted. So it was a time I prayed and I sought counsel to take that legal action. And when we took the legal action, it came out.
So, Mariam, after that process, how did you take the criticism? Was it even there from friends, from family, from church? Because, you know, many people really don't appreciate divorce on those terms, yeah? Many people, or even parents, relatives, they say, Guma. And, you know, also friends, especially friends who have like marriages that are a bit thriving, they don't easily relate to being without a man for 3 years. So how did you take criticisms, comments, people's opinions, and because they're there and we don't want to assume that they don't mean anything, yeah? So how did you handle such?
Wow, it was really a hard time, but remember he had left long time ago. So somewhere, somehow, the immediate people knew what was happening. Yeah. So for them, taking it in was easy. Yeah. Yeah, because they had known the road. Yeah. The mother-in-law knew that I filed for divorce. And he knew why I was filing. Your son left me. He deserted home completely. And the children. And the children, I'm taking care. Then, of course, my mother was like, okay, you know, mothers, they are like, even I had a marriage. But they understood where I was coming from. And a few friends who are in our lives. Of course, society used not to see us together, never together, because we spent a long time not praying together, not going for functions together. So there were all those pinpointers that, what is this marriage on? So we never acted. We never acted to be what we are not. So for them, they were easy. But at first, church was a bit... I was a women's leader, but not married, and now the marriage is broken. So at first, they put me down first seat. And you know, when you're leading people who are married, they look at you from this angle. So the marriage team would organize their things. Remember, you're their leader. You don't know, but because they see gaps in you. So for me, church at first was a bit harsh on me because of the way they used to see me. Then, of course, the society, I work in an NGO and I work in women. Those women used to underrate me. You're telling us marriage is nice. Why is yours broken? There's a time one of the husbands of the men came for me. I said, what are you doing with our women when your marriage is broken? Remember, the village where I grew up from is where I got married, is where I work. So people used to look at me. You're educated, you're driving. You must be a problem. So if a man leaves you in a home, it's a totally different thing. They'll say you're the problem.
Why did you leave?
Why did you leave? But if a woman goes away, still they say you are the problem. Why are you leaving? So there's a way society sees women.
As the ones who are always the problem.
Yes, you're supposed to be there at tough times. So for them, they knew why. So even those women used to look at me and question me. The advice you're giving us is not working at yours. And now you're even divorcing. Of course, for them, you don't tell them you're divorcing. So I was tired. The children now know because I engaged them. This is what we are going to do. And they didn't know what they were saying yes to. Because now dad says there's an enemy. He told me, now you're my enemy. Since you've taken me to court, we are going to fight. So my lawyer tells me, don't fight for property, leave them. That is when you have it smooth. So actually, I didn't walk out with anything.
Because once you get into property, I think that's when even the process becomes long.
So I didn't demand for anything. I left everything. And I walked and I just left it like that. So society and all that.
So you left with the children?
Yes.
Wow. Now, Mariam, I know this is your personal experience, but I want us to speak generally. And from your perspective, at what point should a believing Christian woman or a Christian man think of divorce?
You see, the magnitude of the problem is the one that will take you to seek. One, seek yourself to find first yourself in God. What is my contribution towards where I am?
Yeah.
Why am I going through why I'm going through it? Then secondly,
self-examination.
Yes. Secondly is to seek counsel from other people, the elders, the leaders, the pastors, the friends. This will help you see yourself in the other angle and also tell you what the other person's contribution is.
Yes.
Then thirdly, after talking maybe to that spouse of yours and there's nothing like that, go before the Lord. Actually, for me to move on to divorce, it was time. It was time because of the call of God on my life. And secondly, because I was ready enough to take on what was ahead of me. Since the ministry I am working in is basically women, and where women are, marriage is the issue. Yes. So I cannot tell you get out because the man is not understanding you. You're not getting along. He's fighting. You're beating. For me, they never beat me. I can never put a finger to infidelity because I was not even interested to know whether he was having extra affairs. But for us, it was mind issue. We never bonded. We were not compatible. It is what I can say.
It wasn't infidelity. It was just
emotional abuse. That is it. Like emotional abuse. I was a threat. He was inferior. That is it.
And it couldn't be reconciled.
He could not after everything, and everyone used to run to him to make him see the beauty. He was seeing they are pushing him into what he cannot contain.
Yeah.
So seek God. It took me 5 years to move on because that is when I knew it was the right time. So Christian ladies there, we have the power to make our marriages work.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Maybe at some point I gave up so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But after realizing I gave up, it was already done. You get, I could not build it up again.
Yeah.
So don't reach that extent. Yeah, don't reach that extent. Try as much as possible to be patient with people, lower your expectations. Yeah, be tolerable, the fruit of the Spirit. Yeah, all those things can help. So until all avenues have been done, that is when you can say, now I give up. Let God help me take on. Because actually for me, I did divorce when I was not dating. I was not seeing anyone. Yeah, because maybe it would have been the reason why I need divorce. No. I said, let me free myself, understand who I am, prepare myself. You never know. Yes.
Wow. Wow, that is very profound. So still, what are some of the lessons you've learned through this experience? What are some of those key life lessons you've learned through this experience?
Okay. The most important thing is marriage is not a day's event. For me, when my husband approached me, I was seeing the wedding day only. Because all my friends, I was saying, my friends have gotten a man who wants to marry me. I was just excited. I was not prepared for that journey.
Okay.
So that is a key thing.
To prepare.
Yes, to get to know that it is a life commitment. You're not just going there for the wedding. Because actually my wedding was very nice. But when I look back, I'm like, I wasn't prepared. So prepare yourself. Who are you? What do you want? What is your goal? Is the person you're going for, does he have what you want? Can he contain? For me, there were red flags. There were times you used to go, I just ignored. And he used to show me, you, what you are is not what you are when you are dating.
Okay.
But because I was just looking on the wedding, Devanangi. I'll not be waiting. For me, I was telling everyone I've gotten someone I want. So, know who you are, what you want. And know marriage is not a day's event. It is a life journey. Secondly, when you get in there, trust God. In your effort, you cannot make your marriage work. Yes, you can never and you will never. But if you seek the face of God, God guides you on how to handle simple things, big things, and whatever it is. So trust God. The Bible says, commit your works to the Lord and He shall bring it to pass. So commit yourself when you're there. Those are the lessons I learned. Then another lesson is divorce is tedious. It is draining. It is not nice. I have been there. I don't like people to be there because you become enemies. When you're in the court, you're like enemies. Because my husband
People
said,
who were once
yes, even your
together.
children don't understand it, the effect on them. Like my children have gone through much. Like I had to get counselors, I had to get people. So it is costly. It is so costly. But if it is what will deliver you, it is the best thing. I am now free. I got to know who I was and I am living my life. Because then I used to pretend. Pretend. So those are some of the lessons, yeah. And lastly, as you're trusting God, as you're discovering yourself, have the right people around you.
Who are the right people? Who do you consider right people in that?
The one in the same thing you're in. Like I reached a place, I was looking for people who are singles, but they have reasons why they are single parents. And it is through there that I discovered who I am. Because each one came with their package. Me, I'm single. The man used to batter me. Me, I'm single because of infidelity. Me, I'm single because I was stupid. So we got a family and we started working ourselves together. And I can tell you about 13 women. Already 7 are off. They are remarried. You get?
I think it's a good attitude.
Yes.
You don't have to be a single mother for good.
And don't wait for society. Because for me, I looked at myself. By the way, society will talk. When you're happily married, they will talk. When you're struggling, they will talk. When you're divorced, they will talk.
So let them talk.
Yes, leave them. Do the right thing. If you have children, let them know everything you're doing.
Yeah.
If you can talk to your in-laws, I'm friends with my in-laws, literally. Up to now. If make people friendly, don't make this marriage thing to be like it's out of way proportion. So yeah, and also as we look at what marriage is, understand it is God's idea. It is not our idea.
Yes, it isn't.
It isn't. So because it is God's idea, it is the one to make it work. Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much, Miriam.
Welcome.
I mean, we can go on and on, but these are conversations that we need to have candidly in our day and age. Many people right now don't seem to appreciate when someone takes a decision to divorce. And I know I don't judge anyone personally. I feel like by the time someone decides to divorce, there is so much that is unsaid. Yeah. So you coming out actually to share your story is an encouragement to many people who could be struggling and they're looking for healing. Those that think maybe they could have divorced some time back and they don't want to remarry. They're thinking about remarriage and they're still having the bad image of the previous marriage. So this conversation is very good for us and for such people. And if you're there and this is something you can relate with, there is so much hope even when you decide to remarry. You know, many people can relate with you, and I'm sure people have learned one or two things. Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing. And if you're there and you'd like to compliment, give us a compliment, supplement, give your thoughts about such a story, please go in the comment section and share your thoughts there. Let us know what you've gone through. Let us know how you handled yours. And together we become better people and we build stronger and stronger communities. Thank you so much. Till next time. Bye-bye.